Welcome to the United Free Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Jelly. I have listened to the two other Drake albums that he released after Iceman. I listened to Habibti and I listened to Maid of Honor. So in Habibti, it's a slow jam, R&B type of album, and most of the tracks, really slow beat production, and you just, singing, but, low quality singing. It's not high quality singing. The singing is not good. And the topics he's talking about, the same old topics, and it's basically just very generic, low effort love songs basically. And the only track that's good that stands out is Classic. Classic is a really good song. It has it's kind of got like a 90s sample on it, and yeah, it sounds really good. I enjoyed that track, but outside that track, most of it was just forgettable. Not really a whole lot of good music on it, in my opinion. Maybe some of it will age better, over time, but it's not good quality, especially coming from Drake, right? I'm just basing it off of Drake standards. Because if somebody else made this and their name wasn't Drake, they'll call it trash. So I think this is not good music. And then moving on to the next album, Maid of Honor. That track, that whole album is just it's almost laughable. How bad it is, right? It's got it got like a really weird techno type sound to it, and yeah, it's not good. A lot of the lyrics and the vocal performance on it, it seems like very rushed. Not like I said, there's no really cohesive, creative type of direction to it. It's just saying a bunch of random stuff. And it's no creative process. It doesn't feel like an album. It feels like a bunch of just random tracks put together. Only thing that makes it sound similar is the same production, the techno production. The only track I like on it is Stuck, mainly because it's a catchy song. Stuck is a catchy song. It's saying, we're stuck, we're stuck like traffic. Stuff like that type of thing. Like, and I'm like, okay, it's a catchy song, but it could be better. That's what I'm saying. This whole thing could have been better. Most of it feel rushed. Feel like it's just some loose tracks that was put together out of the vote. You should have kept these tracks in the vote. You should have kept these tracks in the safe and not released them, in my opinion. So let's move on to the ratings. Right, my ratings for a BT. I gave Iceman 3.5. A BT, I'll give it. I'll give it probably a 3. Right, because Iceman had better production in my opinion compared to this. So a BT, I give it a 3. Um, Maid of Honor, Maid of Honor 2. That's a 2 out of 10. It is a 2 out of 10. I think it's the worst album out of all of them because it's really bad. Like, especially that track on there, BBW. That was the worst track I ever heard on there. Like no joke, that was terrible. That was really bad. So yeah, I think that's what I give. So a BT a 3, Maid of Honor a 2 out of 10, and that's my take on it. I think Drake. I think these albums they're gonna do well in terms of streams and numbers because it's Drake. It's gonna do well off his name recognition. It's a big name, celebrity, superstar, pop star, right? So it's gonna sell. But the quality of the tracks, they're not. It's not as good as Drake's previous projects. Projects like CLB views. Um, nothing was the same. Her, not her, but what was it called? Take Care, Take Care. That's his most popular one, right? But yeah, those albums was way better in sound production quality. It had a commercial vibe to it. Like it was great music. But these albums right here, it's not good. It feel like we're in the fall off phase of Drake in terms of the quality of music because he's gonna put out songs that's gonna do well, but it's not gonna have the same quality of music that you expect from someone of such a high stature in music. So yeah, that's my take on it. So if you're down for the cause, if you're down for revolution, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you.